Welcome to Fanboys Live and the Retro Review for October 24th, 2021. It's great to have you here. It's the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. I'm one of the fanboys, Ryan, aka Magic Lasso. Excited to welcome you here. I'm joined by fellow fanboys, Tony Fett. Hello, Tony.
What's going on?
Good to have you here. And Tim, the comic collector, is with us tonight. Hi, Tim. How are you?
What's up, gentlemen? Good to be here.
Good to be here. Good to have you here. Comic Food 2814 is not joining us tonight. Think a furry convention, possibly.
Is that what it was? I heard he got something stuck in his fur. Maybe they're related. I don't know.
Something like that.
I thought he read the new releases this week and they had to rush him to the ER.
If you're watching us on the rewind, a special hello and a thank you to you because we certainly do appreciate you. If you can ever make it to a live show, it's even more fun to interact with you live. But the fact that you're watching on the rewind is certainly appreciated, and we hope you enjoy what we have to bring for you this evening. Speaking of our live chatters, let's shout some of those out, starting with White Tiger Comics, Cartridges, and Collectibles. That's for those who aren't familiar with the name change, that's Ruben Guzman.
Oh, okay. What's up?
So, and he is going to start putting out content in his channel on January, and you should see this aggressive plan he has for his channel.
I'm excited to see it.
He's going to be married to YouTube in 2022, that's
Jeez.
for sure. So if you want to go over and sub up the White Tiger Comics, Cartridges, and Collectibles channel, then you'll hit that notification bell, and when he starts putting out content in January, you'll be all set to go. So hello to Warlord. James is here. Glitter Lord. Great to have you here.
We are live, James.
Yeah, he seems confused.
And we started on time.
Yeah.
We don't have the technology for recorded.
Christy, hello. Christy, tonight I think you're going to understand the story that we're bringing to you much better than you did the weeks prior.
Yes.
So I'm happy to have you here.
Yes.
See, I think I understood the story less, but that's just me.
Robert is here. Robert Henning. Hi, Robert. How are you?
What's up, Robert?
Hope you had a good weekend. Nice to see you here.
Happy Sunday.
Yep, and here was the comment that the boys were referring to from Glitter Lord. We have Mars Comics.
Mars.
What's up,
Hello,
Mars?
good to have you here. He's saying hello to everyone too. So those are our live chatters right now. Oh, Christy is giving thanks for a more understandable story. So are we, Christy. So
Yeah, trust me, we are too. And it's not 4 hours long either.
It isn't. Yeah. So we'll be getting to the retro review. And also tonight, besides DC News, we have Wonder Woman trivia, the first of two parts of Wonder Woman trivia. So we're going to see how well these fanboys know their Wonder Woman.
Probably the one character I wouldn't consider myself a semi-expert on.
Okay.
You go any other avenue in DC and I'd be pretty confident.
Okay. We'll see what happens. That is coming up as well. And you guys are invited to play along for the funsies of it in the chat. Hello, BTC Moon Guy. Yo! The DC fans say yo to you right back. Great to have you here. So I hate to be a downer, but as we start the news segment, I actually do have some sad news to report.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I was about to say, is there any other kind of DC news?
This truly breaks my heart because this is a piece of my childhood that is gone. And I just found out about this about half an hour before the show started. But she was one of the first actresses to play a superhero. And sadly, Joanna Cameron has passed away at the age of 70. This happened on Friday after complications from a stroke. She was best known for playing Isis on the Saturday morning Shazam ISIS hour.
Oh no!
Back in the late 70s, and she passed away. And I'm so, it breaks my heart to even say that. I always had this goal that I would get to meet her someday and give her a hug. And you know, I did have contact with her because she was doing autographs via the mail, and they were for sale and they were guaranteed authentic. And I did write her a fan letter with my purchase. And she actually enclosed extra for me. I think she really knew from my letter how much my childhood and how much happiness Isis brought into my childhood. Isis, the comic book character, not to be confused with any other group.
I love the disclosure. I love
We need another one of those snippets.
I don't need any strikes on my channel here or any FBI
Yeah.
showing up. Oh, mighty ISIS is what I'm talking about. Joanna Cameron also held the record at one point for being in the most TV commercials than any other human being.
Really?
She did. And she also guest starred in an episode of the live action Amazing Spider-Man television show back in the 1970s. So
Interesting.
There was a live action Spider-Man
there
cartoon.
was. Yeah.
Wow.
So just very sad to mention that. But
Felix Faust will bring her back.
Thank you, Miss Cameron, for everything and the enjoyment that you gave this fanboy for sure.
Like he does in the comics. Felix Faust will bring her back.
I hope somebody does. But in happier news, as we digress, Wonder Woman Day 2021 was this past Thursday. Did you fanboys pick up your free Wonder Woman Day comic books when you were at your LCS?
I did not.
Oh, demerits. I've already issued Tim demerits today.
Dude,
now Tony's getting demerits too.
My family went through being sick, so like other than work and having to get my car replated, we haven't really left the house in pretty much 3 weeks.
Yeah,
So,
being sick will do that.
You could
for
probably
sure.
still hear it in my voice. Like I'm
Yeah.
over it, but like over the sickness, but still recovering. If you
Yeah.
get my drift.
Yeah,
Hello,
I was.
Super Rust 9000. Thanks for stopping.
I know what
in
you're
and
talking
hanging
about,
with
man.
us.
I was
Yeah.
sick a while ago too. I think it was the last couple shows. I just
Yeah.
couldn't shake it, and for the first time in a while, I'm feeling better. Maybe it's because I went to a convention. Maybe that's what it was.
Except you expelled the disease.
Yeah, you guys
into
take
the
some. You
crowd.
guys take some. But it's weird because I'm fresh back from Baltimore, so this is my COVID check wristband, and this is
Nice.
my entrance check wristband.
So you put them together like this, and who do you got?
Exactly.
So it was funny because when you go into the convention hall, you have to hold up your hands so they could see both wristbands so they can let you in. People were walking around like that.
Mm.
It was really funny.
Yes, Russ, there was a Wonder Woman Day. It was this past Thursday because this past Thursday marked the 80th anniversary of Wonder Woman's first published appearance in All-Star Comics number 8. And local comic shops had 3 different Wonder Woman comic books. Participating LCSs had 3 different Wonder Woman comic books. And on that day, Thursday, a major event happened to the Amazon. She became the 3rd inductee to the Comic-Con Museum Character Hall of Fame. So congratulations to her. There was a virtual ceremony. Patty Jenkins and Linda Carter accepted on her behalf. And it was very cool. Now, as I say, she's only the 3rd. Check this out. I'm going to tell you who the first 2 are, but keep in mind who she's beat out to make this
Okay.
honor. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I heard it. Like
The first inductee was Pac-Man. The second
Okay.
inductee was Batman. Wonder Woman's 3rd. So she has beat out Superman and every Marvel character.
yeah, like if you're doing a superhero Hall of Fame, you have to start with the first superhero, right?
Yeah, how come
Like-
Superman, the guy who started it all?
Yeah.
I thought Superman would have made it before her. I'm just happy she's in
Yeah.
there. So
I wouldn't be mad if she beat Batman, but how do you beat the first? Like
Yeah.
none of
how
those
did
3 should have
Pac-Man
beat Superman.
How did
Yeah.
Pac-Man beat them all?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. How did Pac-Man get
Pac-Man-
on the list? Superman beat him by like
Is-
40 years.
Is he a Pac-Man, the arcade character?
Yeah, waka, waka,
Is he
waka,
even a
waka, waka,
superhero?
waka, waka.
it
Well,
a
it's
superhero
a
Hall of
character
Fame?
Hall of Fame.
Okay,
He's a
okay.
character.
If it's a character Hall of Fame, I retract my statement. I thought it was a superhero.
No, it's a character
Hall
Hall
of
of Fame.
All right, well then I have no problem with her beating him then.
Promiscuous time traveler, howdy to you as well, or as I like to say, meowdy.
Yeah.
That is a great YouTube name.
It is. So, what news do you guys have? And Tony, tell us about the convention too at some point.
I will. I do have some news. We got a little bit better view of Dr. Fate in the Black Adam movie. Very excited. I'm still blown away by that movie. I hope it is so good. I should really reel in my expectations, because I don't know if it's going to be as good as I hope. But
I must be Debbie Downer tonight because I was just about to be like, oh, it won't be as good as you hope. The DC movie.
I have faith. A Birds of Prey sequel was announced. Did you
Oh
guys see
yeah, I
that?
heard with Batgirl instead of Harley.
But it's going to be Batgirl in the Birds of Prey, not Harley in the Birds.
So
Thank
like
you,
an actual Birds of Prey
DC
movie is
gods.
announced, you mean?
Finally.
So it's the same actresses that played in the Birds of Prey movie,
Yes.
though, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Black
Yeah.
Canary still Black Canary. Huntress is
Yep.
still the Huntress.
If you don't have Batgirl and Black Canary in it, it's not a Birds of Prey movie. Those two are the Birds
the
of Prey.
Birds of Prey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the best news from the DCEU that I heard so far.
I saw. I haven't got a chance to go get it, but speaking of movie news, I saw Injustice is out.
I saw that
The
that was out as
DVD?
well too. Yeah.
I'm sort of interested because I have no knowledge of Injustice.
Yeah. If anyone in
that'll
the
be,
chat has
you
seen
know.
it already, please drop us a note and let us know how
I
it
did
was.
see it. I saw
You
it.
did.
Yeah.
Is it good?
No.
Oh,
I was
Well,
about to say it's something
it's-
I know nothing about, so it'll be truly
It's
entertaining.
then it is good. If you don't really know the story very well, you're gonna love it.
Well, you
But
know,
me,
like if they're adapting a story as a fan, you're going to say either this was good or bad or they changed something. Well, you know, for me, Injustice, I don't know any of that. It's just this is all new to me.
Then it is
Yeah.
going to be good. You know, it is rated R, so there's violence and blood and people die,
Yeah,
and that's great. I love darker DC stories like that. The part for me that made it suck is because they crammed 4 years of Injustice storyline into like what, a 2-hour movie. So they skipped a lot of stuff that I think would have been great for a movie. Then the stuff they put in, it's like, why would you put that in? Like, who cares? And then they just made up a bunch of stuff to fill up time. So to me, I didn't care for it. But whatever. They made Mr. Terrific the big hero. Not that I have anything against Mr. Terrific being a hero.
Michael Holt, Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, but
See,
in the
that's
story,
right
that's
down my alley too. I love
That-
Mr. Terrific.
but in the stories, like, that's not the case. He's not a big player. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Russ has a question. He wants
See,
to know
you're
if
making it
it's going
sound
to
good to
be
me.
Barbara Gordon as Batgirl or Oracle.
I
We don't know
assume.
yet. Okay.
I think it's a little too early, but hey, as long as they said Batgirl in the Birds of Prey, but I don't know what Batgirl it's going to be.
It might not be Barbara Gordon because they are making a Barbara Gordon
Yeah, it might
Batgirl
not be.
movie.
Well, it's
If
not
they're
going to be
not gonna have
Cassandra
that same
Cain because they
actress.
wasted that in the Harley Quinn movie.
Maybe they made her into. You never know.
That would be so stupid. That would be so stupid. So, whatever. But yeah, it. I think you should see it if you don't know anything about Injustice. See it, especially if you can catch it for free or cheap. You'll have a lot of fun. But
Well, I think the animated movies rarely disappoint, and if they don't, it's not like live movie disappointment. It's like, that wasn't as good as the others.
And the voices of some of the characters bothered me. I don't know why.
What I've noticed with the animated movies, and it seems to be across the board, that they're at a pretty good pace, and then they hit about that hour mark, and then they try to wrap everything up so fast in 15 minutes.
I can agree with that because I was loving the Justice Society movie until about an hour, and then all of a sudden you're like, is this over yet? Like, what?
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden it was like not a good movie.
Yeah, they seem to speed through the end of their movies. That's one thing that I wish it was spaced out a little bit more evenly.
Yeah.
So, do we have more news?
Did you guys talk about all the Mcfarland announcements?
Nope.
No.
I think that's your alley, man.
Like I know they announced the the tie-ins to the movie. They're doing the Batman hazmat suit from New 52 Justice League.
Very cool.
And I forget which wave it is, but it's so ridiculous. If Fu or Stevie was here, they might be excited. But do you know what one of the actual Build-A-Figures is in these new waves?
Who's that?
The Bat Horse.
Really?
Batman's horse is the Build-A-Figure. And it's like, how is that a motivation to buy all the figures?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who's making those kinds of decisions, but they're not.
But there's some cool stuff coming out, and some other stuff. Like, I don't like movie stuff, so.
Hi, John's Comics with Kids. It's always awesome to see you stopping by.
Yes. Yes.
Tony, let's see your elbow.
My elbow?
Yeah, let's see your elbow. That elbow has been rubbing elbows with so many creators today. Who did you have the chance to talk to today?
Oh my gosh!
In person, by the way.
In person, some of the bigger ones were Jerry Ordway,
Wow.
Brett Breeding. I'm sorry. Gene Ha, Evan Shaner, Becky Coolian, Amy Reeder. One that was very surprising, Christopher Priest. Nobody in his line. I was able to just walk right up,
Nice.
Wow.
which is surprising because he's very talented. Oh, man. I can't even tell you. Philip Kennedy Johnson, Dave Johnson,
Magic Johnson?
Magic
Magic
Johnson.
Channel.
Oh,
Pretty
man.
much
Just,
a who's who of Substack creators.
yeah, pretty much. Or future Substack creators.
Everybody's over there now.
Tom King, Mitch Gradis,
Oh my gosh.
Peter
like,
J. Tomasi.
Tom
And,
King.
and Tony, you
It
accomplished
really is
a goal
Halloween.
today.
I did. I hit 400 autographed books. So
Nice, congratulations.
that's a big milestone for me. All total, it was 413 autographed total now that I have. That's not
Awesome.
including, like, I brought books that were already autographed,
Yeah.
but I was just getting more signatures on those books. So those don't count as in the mix. So I only count
Nice.
new books. So
We say hello to Chad. YouTube is 90 MFC. Great to have you stopping by, even if it's just for a moment.
yeah.
Always nice to see your name pop up in the chat.
Yeah, I don't even know how many signatures I have. It's got to be well over 1,000 because some books have like 12 or 15 signatures on them
Wow, that's
on
awesome.
one book. So I don't even know, but it was a good con. It felt good to be back after COVID. Everything
Good.
shut everything down. It was still, they were a little, skittish about COVID. They were very,
Sure.
very strict about the COVID protocols.
Yep.
Um,
Well, when you
unless
do
you
this,
were-
it keeps the COVID away.
Yeah, right. But unless you're a creator, I saw them just like take their mask off and nobody said anything. But if you put it down to like breathe for just a second, put your mask back on.
Yeah.
He was like,
Oh.
okay. Apparently they can't get COVID.
I didn't have a comic convention per se, but I had a comic show, which means a bunch of dealers set up inside a hotel ballroom and such. So I picked up some nice deals today that you'll see in a future comic book editions video on my channel. So I got to look through some back issues and stuff today too, but you had the fun of getting to interact live in person with some creators. That's cool.
I didn't do any back issue diving, really. I wanted to, but the Baltimore
Well, there's only
Ravens
so much time.
were playing a home game and I had to get out of there and beat that NFL traffic.
Gotcha.
And I did. I beat it. So got lucky. Overall, huge success for me. There's a lot of people I missed because they literally canceled last possible minute, and I could not get them. But overall, huge success. Very happy with the pickups that I did. Shout out to Robert Vendetti and his son for hooking me up with a button. That was cool as heck to see what they were doing. So what they were doing is, how like content creators for DC, if they make a book, like they get that book in the mail, like from DC for free and all the cool variants or whatever. Well, if you wanted a button, they would make you a button out of the actual comic book. They would just find a cool, like 2-inch round picture like that somewhere on a page. And they would just, they'd laminate it for you.
They make it right in front of you, huh? Made to order.
Made to order, and like you have this cool, you just walk around on the whole Comic-Con with it. So I got this really
That's
sharp
awesome.
Green Lantern one. Yeah, for it was nice. His kid was trying to raise money for a bass guitar, so I helped him out, donated some
Awesome.
cash.
Well, that's cool.
But
It's a fun story too.
Great con. I normally spend a lot more time there, but I was there from about 10 to 12, 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Just because of the traffic, but
Sure.
fabulous con. It felt good to be back.
Good. Glad you had a good time.
It was totally worth it.
Do we have any other DC news? Otherwise, we'll segue into some Wonder Woman trivia, then get into tonight's retro review of Gods of Gotham.
I did see one about the DCEU. So they did cancel. If you are unaware, there was a New Gods movie that was canceled. And Tom King was writing that.
Mhm.
It sounds like that's semi-back on the table, but if it's going to be focused more on Darkseid. So
Gotcha.
It sounds like Darkseid is not getting a solo movie per se, but it's about Darkseid, and I guess a day in the life of Darkseid, we'll call it. I guess that's what's going to be.
Who's afraid of Darkseid? I am.
Dark Side is. So
All right.
have a number and start have a number by the end of the show. Dude, I'd be here all day.
Tom
Russ,
King writing
the
a Dark
problem
Side
is
movie.
after 21, it's hard to count for Tony.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. You ready for some Wonder Woman trivia if we
Let's
don't have
do
any
it.
more news?
Let's do it.
All right. We got 10 questions here. Phone or Russ if you're not for sure. What is the name of the red-haired Amazon who was Wonder Woman for a time period?
Artemis.
Very good.
Boom.
And I also would have taken Orana because that entire Artemis storyline was derived from a story that was done in Volume 1, a 2-issue storyline where Orana became Wonder Woman. Hey, Bronze Age Brian, great to see you here. We're just
What's up,
doing
man?
some Wonder Woman trivia for the funsies of it. Okay, who is the Amazon's current queen?
Hippolyta.
Current queen?
Wait, no, current queen? Yeah, I don't know.
Is it Diana?
No.
Pass.
Hold on. Well, yeah, because Diana isn't around at the moment.
Diana just got back.
Is it Donna?
Nope. Mars Comics seems to know who it is. It's Nubia.
Nubia. Okay.
Why would they give the new character the high and
Well,
mighty
Nubia has
title?
actually been around since 1973. She just hasn't been used that much.
You're right. I guess that's true.
She just got her own limited series. First issue came out this
and
past
she
week.
was on an NFT that I pulled.
That you're going to give to me. Third question. In the Golden Age, what was Etta Candy's catchphrase?
Who?
Oh, man.
Etta
What?
Candy.
I don't even know who that is.
She was in the first Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, she was.
Steve's
gosh.
assistant. But in the Golden Age, she was part of the Holiday Girls from the Holiday College. Short, little, tiny, red-haired girl.
Who loves
liked
chocolate.
candy.
Who lives to eat chocolate.
Yes. But she had a little catchphrase that she said all the time.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't recall, but as soon as you say it, I'm going to be like, you're right. It's something silly.
I'm going to do it with jazz hands. Woo, woo. Woo, woo was the correct answer. Okay, your next question, question 4. What is Steve Trevor's mother's name?
Martha.
Yeah,
Oh, man. I haven't the foggiest clue.
Kathy.
Nope. Of course, we're using in volume 1. We never knew this. This came with the George Perez reboot in '87.
Not
That's
a clue.
a tough one.
Her name is Diana Rockwell Trevor,
Huh.
and Diana was partially named after her.
Very cool.
So, during the New 52, who is Zeke's mother?
I don't even know who Zeke is.
Hold on. Give me a second. Zeke. Oh man, I remember the story in my head, but I can't remember the character now.
Zeke was the baby.
Yeah, that's why this baby they were trying to protect. What was she, a god? She was a normal person, right?
One of Zeke's parents was a god. Well, she kind of was a god too, yeah, in a way. In a way.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember, but at least I know this character.
Yeah, it's Zola.
So
I gotta agree with Steven. If you're dating someone that shares the same name as a parent, that's weird.
I agree.
So if my wife had the same name as my mom, I probably never would have married her. It'd just be weird.
Okay. What is the powerless era of Wonder Woman referred to as?
Boring.
But I always refer to it as the 60s era. But she was a spy too, right?
It was called something else. I mean, it is the 60s era, but it really was referred to as something else. And Brian asked the same question I was wondering. Why did you say that name? Oh, Cookie from Just a Little Podcast is here to catch the show. Great to have you here. Librarian will be looking for you, Cookie. He'll understand.
They had a great show this afternoon. Go catch it on the replay.
See, I missed it. I was at my comic show.
They were showing all kinds of fire. It was awesome.
Yeah. He had Wonder Woman in the thumbnail, so.
Perfect.
It's not the Dark Ages, Stephen M. And hello, Stephen M. Good to see you. Good guess, but nope.
The
The
bondage,
bondage
area.
era, that's the
Yeah.
entire run of Wonder Woman. Okay, I think our time is up.
Yep.
That is the mod era.
Mod era.
Oh,
okay.
mod.
The mod era, yeah. And also Brian knows what's going on. After this, we have Mama's Family Trivia. We'll be bringing Cookie in. So talk about Vicki Lawrence. Okay, a few more questions. If you guys don't get this one, I'm issuing big demerits. But first, I say hello to Squatchy Comics. Recovering from some type of fur convention is.
We
all
thought he
told
was
us.
with you.
Yeah.
We thought he was with you. What is Wonder Woman's secret identity?
Diana Prince.
Prince.
Yeah, Diana Prince. Good. What magazine was the first to publish an issue with Wonder Woman on the cover?
Wait, say that
Sensation.
again?
What magazine was the first to publish an issue with Wonder Woman on the cover? I'm not talking a comic book. I'm talking like a periodical magazine.
Time.
Time. Yeah, I was going to say it was
Nope.
Time. Rolling Stone?
No,
Oh, I have
Newsweek.
no idea.
no. She was on the cover of the very first issue of Ms. magazine.
I like
Oh.
Steven's guess better. Mad Magazine.
Yeah, Mad
Ms.
Magazine.
Yeah.
That's an awesome guess.
Yep. Just 2 questions left for tonight's round, and there'll be more Wonder Woman trivia. Oh,
Damn it,
he's got a
Playboy.
guess too. Playboy.
Playboy.
Yep. Incidentally, I just thought of this, and this is just derailing the topic, but if you ever watch the old Bewitched TV show, when you see them reading a magazine, instead of reading Harper's Bazaar, they're reading Harpy's Bazaar.
Harpy's Bizarre.
Yeah. Anyway, just digressing. 2 questions left for this week, and then we go into the retro review. In pre-crisis, what superhero is the Earth 2 daughter of Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor?
Oh, man. That's up my alley, too. It's
Fury.
Yes, it's Fury.
multiverse. Yeah, I
She's
was
part
not
of the
gonna say
Infinity
Fury.
Inc. So,
Yeah.
last question for this week on Wonder Woman trivia. What Wonder Woman villain was an animal transformed into a human?
Animal.
Circe?
No.
Animal transformed into a human. I don't think I know this.
I don't think I know.
See, I thought you guys would guess Cheetah, but it's not Cheetah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
that's the
Cheetah.
op- it's
That's
like
the
the
other way
opposite of
around.
It's not
Cheetah.
Cheetah. Stephen M knows who it is. It's Giganta.
Really?
She was an ape that was transformed into a person, and that happened in Wonder Woman issue 9 from volume 1, 1942.
Don't tell Gorilla Grodd. Be upset.
That is this week's Wonder Woman trivia. As we segue into the retro review. So tonight we're going to do the first 2 issues of the series Gods of Gotham, part of Wonder Woman. Is that issue 164 and 165, I think, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
This is the first story arc that Phil Jimenez did when he took over the reins, creative reins on Wonder Woman. And just a little backstory. Tonight we'll be covering the first 2 issues, and then during our next Fanboys, we'll be doing and wrapping up the final ones. And yes, Bronze Age Brian, ABC was lying to us because Apache Chief needed a villain. So this story, as I said, Phil Jimenez first on the run. From what I've heard him say, it was intentional to use and guest star the Batman family because that was going to be good sales. And you're making a good mark, with good sales when your run starts on the title. So that was very calculated. However, it sounds like the creators of Batman at the time were not very happy about him being in this book. And as a matter of fact, would only limit Phil to use the Batman characters inside this church and surrounding church area. They couldn't go anywhere else in Gotham. So he was restricted by that by the Batman editors at the time.
Wonder why they that was the case. I mean,
They just, it sounded like they didn't want him to use it, to use those characters, but he did. And,
He found a way.
He said, well, if he has to, then they can't be going all around Gotham. I guess because they didn't want to have to integrate whatever the residual effects of that happen in that story is into their books.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
at least what I think is the story. So, Tim, you want to start it? Oh, Tony, are you able to pull up
yeah, let me pull up issue 1. I have issue 2 up.
Okay, and then Tim's going to kick us off there. Yeah, there we have a great Adam Hughes cover too.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Come on,
Yep,
load.
which is
Here,
also
let
a
me,
thumbnail.
all right, let me back this off a little bit. Let me zoom out here so we can see the whole thing. All right. I was not prepared. Sorry, everybody. Hold on.
No problem.
There we go.
Okay, I see it.
Look at that
Okay,
beauty.
Tim's going to get us kicked off with issue 164 of Gods of Gotham.
So it starts off, we see this golden apple start to grow, and this voice is talking, basically saying that people are starting to pray and chanting to this person, and it's causing the apple to grow. They could feel rage and hatred, and as this is going on, you notice the scarecrow, but it's not, it doesn't look like he should, and he's talking. The voice you were hearing at the beginning was Poison Ivy, and she doesn't look right. And basically they kind of she kind of recognizes Scarecrow but doesn't. And they're saying a lot of stuff that kind of throws you off. It feels like you miss some stuff, but you kind of get caught up a little bit later, and you notice they're surrounded. She's sitting in this tree. They're surrounded by all these people in this gold mask. And then you see Harley Quinn is there. She's trapped in a tree. Yeah. And then, she's saying, like, you need to let me go. My pudding's going to be upset. And that's where you see in that bottom corner there, Joker's there too. There's something wrong with them. So then we switch back over, and we're seeing Diana flying into Themyscira. And I had never heard of some of this. I guess her invisible plane had been transformed into, with alien technology, into this flying chariot looking thing, and that has Artemis on it.
Which is pretty cool.
It seems kind of testy, like, Wonder Woman shows up and she's like, why are you wearing your Wonder Woman armor? And Hippolyta's like, oh, I was out with the JSA. And she's like, well, you remember that, like, the Amazons are your number one concern. And they're like, of course. And while that's going on, Artemis is walking around, and basically it sort of looks like Ryan's collection has been moved to Themyscira. She's seeing all this Wonder Woman paraphernalia, including Wonder Woman comics. But she thinks it's a little bit weird that it's pretty much all Hippolyta memorabilia, not necessarily Diana. And they all got called there, I guess, by Penelope here. And she's been saying, something's going on. There's a Olympian presence in Gotham. You need to head there. So they're getting ready to leave, and Hippolyta's like, I'll come with you. And then Diana sort of repeats herself. You're supposed to stay here and be queen, right? You have responsibilities here. And her mom's like, yeah, okay. So Diana and Artemis leave. Quick flip over to Gotham. We see Batman showing up to where Huntress is in communication with Oracle, and Oracle's like, hey, Wonder Woman's on the way. And Batman's like, tell her I don't need her, stay out of Gotham. Oracle's like, I don't talk back to gods. And Batman's like, well, I don't believe in them. I think that's pretty classic. For not being the Batman writers, that's pretty solid Batman writing.
Yeah.
And they're looking down, they see all these worshipers standing outside of a church, and it's Maxie Zeus, who I guess is dressed different, but is pretty much acting like Maxie Zeus acts. Like he's a herald to the gods. He's telling these people, their power is real. Blah, 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 blah. And Huntress is noticing, like, these are homeless people and thugs pretty much a little mix of everybody. And then I'm gonna turn it over to Lasso here because this quickly turns into the type of the story I don't follow well.
Okay.
But basically, Poison Ivy comes out with one of the golden apples, and they're giving these apples to the people to eat.
Yeah, these are apples of discord, and essentially what it's doing is, if you haven't figured this out by now, these Batman villains have been possessed. By some of these gods, some of Wonder Woman's foes. The gods have possessed these Batman villains, and they're sowing discord. And Batman and Huntress are watching this happen, and they spring into action, and they realize, pretty quickly that, okay, this isn't Poison Ivy actually isn't in control of what's going on here. Although there is a slip, one brief moment where Poison Ivy comes out and then she's instantly gone again. I thought that was kind of neat. And so they realize, okay, this is, it's my villain. Batman's thinking like it's my villain, but it's not my villain at the same time. So the fighting goes on. We see Harley Quinn, is tied up, and we see the Joker, who is all godlike possessed, and he's got the snakes coming out of his beard and his hair, and we cut now over to Wonder Woman and Artemis, who are arriving on the scene. One thing that I kind of forgot about was how Themyscira was able to I don't want to say time travel in the sense of time travel like from year to year, but move from one location to another, because Themyscira is now off the coast of Gotham City. So Wonder Woman and Artemis have easy access into the port of Gotham right now. And Diana says they're not going to be able to be deceived as long as they have the amulet of Harmonia, which of course we talked about during the War of the Gods review.
I thought that was pretty cool if they happened to mention the story right before this.
Yeah, the one that we just reviewed. So
yeah.
So Wonder Woman and Artemis are heading in. We get this really cool full-page splash of Diana. And what I like about this full-page splash right there is that the background she's sharp and in focus, but the background is really blurry. Not blurry enough that you can't tell what it is, but it's blurry. And I think that we see that a couple times in these issues, and I like that. Diana demands that they show themselves. She sees what she's dealing with, that these gods have possessed some of these Batman villains. And she essentially calls them cowards and frightened little gods who are shadows of their former powers. That leads into some battle between Wonder Woman and these villains that are possessed by the gods. We cut back to Huntress. She meets up with, of all people, Artemis. So, these two characters are very much like the same coin in two different families.
Yeah.
And they don't get along, which makes sense because they're essentially the same character. So we have those two who are kind of thinking that they might be foes, and we'll soon realize that they need to unite. So we have Wonder Woman battling a beast. We have the godlike demons watching. We have Batman getting captured by them. She rushes in to save them. And as our first story issue ends, we have Batman and Wonder Woman tied up by the Joker, who's been possessed by a god. Harley tied up as well. And that will lead us into the second issue, which is called War.
Poor Harley just has no idea.
Yeah, Harley has no
happening
idea
the
what's
entire
going on here. So what I want to say about this issue, before I ask you guys if you have anything to add into it, one thing that I loved is when they were going through the Hippolyta trophy case, some of those items that they're showing are actual real Wonder Woman collectibles.
Yeah, I did see
the
that.
comic book and everything. That's
the comic book, the statue, that was a real collectible item.
My first thought is this is an outdoor area and the comic book's just sitting on a table. Shouldn't this be indoors and protected?
Yeah, there's not even bagged and boarded.
Exactly, just sitting on a table in the open.
That's right. I'll kick off the next issue after I say hello to some folks that have joined us, including the Jackson Roy Kurt. Good to have you here. And Hoarder's Hide is here as well. So hi, Scott. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. So I will pick up the beginning of issue.
This is another awesome Adam Hughes cover, by the way.
Yeah, another great Adam Hughes cover. So as soon as my iPad will let me, I will.
So was this the beginning of Adam Hughes on Wonder Woman 2, Ryan? Or
No, he had
been
been on before this, and then there was a slight little break, and then he came back to cover.
Okay.
So now we're starting out, and we're seeing the parallels between these Batman villains and the gods that have possessed them. With Poison Ivy, with Scarecrow. Like, as a matter of fact, the god that has possessed Scarecrow is the god of fear. So that makes sense that he would take over the Scarecrow.
Sinestro?
So that gives us a nice little backstory, the correspondence between the Batman villains and the villains and the gods rather that they possessed. So that takes us back into where we left off with the previous issue, and we have Oracle and the Amazon's Oracle, Penelope, both at the same time going, "Oh my God!" They sense this event that's happening, that the Joker or the God-possessed Joker has taken a hold of Wonder Woman and Batman. And I love on this panel where you see the look of fear in Diana's eyes with the snake right there, with the snakes coming at her, and you can see that terrified look in her eyes. And I just thought, wow, that is so cool. We have a nice splash page there too, where Wonder Woman is, praying to the gods. You can see that she's kind of going through her mental, okay, gods, give me the strength to defeat this. How can I do this? She's working it out in her head. And because Wonder Woman isn't just a warrior, she's a peacekeeper too. But in a situation like this, you can't keep peace. That shows us back with the gods once again, who have Diana and Batman captured. And takes us into Avatars, which is the name of this story. And Tony, do you want to pick up here with the cut?
Sure. So, is this Penelope here?
That's down to Troy.
You're down to Troy, yeah. So
Yep.
This is
Real quick, I just wanted to mention, because I recognize the name. Jimenez was, he's the guy that sort of took over a lot for Perez with Titans, right?
yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I actually, because I won't be able to be here next week because of Halloween, read ahead, and I just thought it was very interesting to see him bringing the Titans right in, something he's sort of known for.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, Tony, pick us up with Donna Troy in the dark room.
Yeah, Donna Troy is developing her photos in the dark room, which was kind of cool to see. I like photography like that. So anyway, she's developing her photos, then has this like mental attack, and these guys kind of break in, and it's a little strange because if you know anything about the not Greek gods, but the old gods, so like Medusa, right? And this kind of comes into play, and I like how they did the like, oh, I know how to beat this person because I paid attention in school. Which was kind of fun, and we'll get to that here in a second. So, Huntress and Artemis are about to duke it out with these folks wearing these golden masks, and they said, slaughter them, kill them all. But it's Artemis and the Huntress, so they're not going down without a fight. They go in, start swinging. I like where's that panel where they break, or maybe I'm heading. Oh, here it is, right here. Huntress punches this one in the face so hard it just breaks the mask. I thought that was pretty
it's
cool.
A couple characters you don't want to mess with. They're known for their viciousness.
Yeah, I would not want to go toe to toe with the Huntress or Black Canary. That's for sure. So we cut back to Batman, and he's incapacitated by Scarecrow and the God of Fear, and he's kind of going through all the religions, and he's kind of having like a spiritual moment, and there's all these, and I'm surprised that DC did this because in the past they've skirted the issue of religion. They've done pretty much everything they can to avoid it, but they take it on here in full force, especially in this panel, and they talk about God and religion and sin and righteousness, and even touch base on magic and how it's technically throw back to the Spectre here. It's against God's will. Anyone who uses magic is against God's will. So they talk. They even show a picture, right? There's Billy Batson, Shazam.
One thing I want to say real quick before you move on, I want to actually quote part of that page. It says, and this is Batman: For how could gods with the power to shape worlds let the parents of an 8-year-old boy be murdered before his eyes or allow a maniac like the Joker to exist?
He's right. He's
That is
absolutely right.
That is a strong statement right there.
It is. It just goes to show that I think this is
It's really
DC,
good writing for not
It
being
is.
a Batman writer.
Yeah.
You're
I mean, for
absolutely
the
right.
character.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. And again, I think this is when DC started to like realize that their audience was starting to grow up a little bit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that was kind of cool. When I read that, I thought, pretty cool. Cut back to Wonder Woman and her dilemma. Remember, she's entangled by the Joker and all these snakes or whatever. And it looks like this god bush thing, I don't even know what it is about to eat Harley Quinn. Thank you.
Poor Harley. She's just throwing around this whole story.
Just nip that problem right in the bud in the end. But like what you said, she can focus her energy, and that's exactly what she's doing here. She's I don't want to say meditating, but she's finding a focal point so she can find her inner strength to defeat this evil Joker hybrid thing. And she does. She finds the strength. She frees herself. She rips all the snakes off, and you can see on Joker's head right here that all the snakes are just kind of like just snake. They're headless. The headless snakes are just kind of weird. And I thought that was pretty cool. We cut back to Donna Troy, and she's fighting Medusa. And who's here to save the day? It's Nightwing,
the greatest hero of all,
best hero of all, who comes in and saves the day in like 5 seconds. Takes a batarang, frisbees it, cuts the head right off of Medusa, like you're supposed to.
Not only does that, but he's covering his eyes.
Yeah, he's covering his eyes.
He does it
at the same time, and cuts the head off of Medusa. It was
I
very,
will
very
say,
fun.
This is bad Nightwing writing. I mean, this writer should have known better. Nightwing should have been doing a backflip at the same time. That's
Somehow,
true.
like walking on the ceiling. And
exactly. That's true Nightwing style.
Walking on the ceiling, backflip while closing his eyes and throwing a batarang.
Exactly.
That's true Nightwing. But yeah, so now that they're saved, you can see Medusa got somebody, turned him into stone. Remember, when you look at Medusa in the eye, you turn into stone. So that's weird. So they have the amulet.
So many jokes there, so little time.
So many jokes. You're absolutely right. So they have the amulet. We're going to cut to Artemis and Huntress. They just got done dealing with the cultists, and they're going to go ahead and head inside. We cut back to Wonder Woman, and she's taking on all these gods. But then here come Batman and Nightwing here to help out. They have this getting ready for this big epic battle, and that's kind of the conclusion they kind of leave us on, with Harley Quinn still stuck in the background.
She's going to be the sacrifice.
She's going to be the sacrifice.
Poor Harley. I guess they needed someone pure of heart, I'm guessing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we need someone pure of heart. Let's get Harley Quinn. And that's kind of where the big cliffhanger is. They're getting ready to have this big epic throwdown, which I thought was pretty cool. So
with this issue, one thing that I really loved was seeing the tiara used to cut the snakes that were entangling Wonder Woman. That's not just a decoration. That's not just an accessory. There's a purpose to that. It's razor sharp, and you don't always get to see Wonder Woman put that into action or into motion. So it was neat for me to see that done.
You know how powerful that tiara is. She once slit Superman's throat with it.
Yep, she cut
when he was possessed by Max Lord.
Yeah.
So, what are your guys' thoughts? And Tim, I know that you've read ahead without giving spoilers.
I didn't get to the 4th issue yet, but I will read it. I mean, I won't be here next week, but I'll read it. Before then, I read the first 3.
What are you guys thinking about this story so far?
I'll give my brief review without spoiling it, because I won't be here to give the final review. I would give this a 4 out of 5 overall on everything. It's not my cup of tea. Like, I'm not into gods, and it's really hard for me to follow, especially when I'm seeing 2 gods that look like, with the snake heads. It's like, what's happening? Mm-hmm. But there was a lot of good moments and character moments like Nightwing and so on and so forth that kept me engaged through stuff I wasn't necessarily interested in.
Mhm.
So I think it was really well done. You know, like I said, if it was my cup of tea, I probably would rate it higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. And with cover art, Adam Hughes,
Home run.
I'll
He knocked
probably
it out
give
of the
that a
park.
5 and the rest
Yeah.
a 4.
Yeah.
So
Tony, what are your thoughts so far?
I'm going to echo Tim. Everything he said. No, it's big.
yeah,
I
you get
enjoy
to
it.
see. Well, no, I'm not gonna. I don't want to spoil anything going forward.
Fair
I'll
enough.
just say I enjoy the characters used throughout the story.
Yeah,
It's-
this
it's
is a
cool to
great
see
use of
them.
characters. Even with Phil Jimenez had basically his hand tied behind his back in terms of using
Yeah.
the Batman family.
Mhm.
Just goes to show how talented he is.
Yeah.
That he can write this good of a story with severe limitations being in place.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is, there are so many characters in the story, and it takes a good and talented writer to be able to balance them.
Yeah.
Because you don't get too far in going, I wonder what so and so is doing, or I wonder what. And there's so many different locations we're cutting to. I think that he does a really good job with that many characters in balancing them. Not everyone is able to do that. Hello to Harper Hidden Gem Comics. Thanks for stopping by. I think his artwork, it's always been a little Perez light, but I don't mean that as an insult or anything.
He was the guy that took over for Perez on Titans.
I mean,
you
Perez
couldn't hardly
is one of
tell.
his mentors.
Yeah.
So the artwork is solid. When I saw him coming on, I knew that the artwork was going to be good. I wasn't so much familiar with him as a writer.
I thought the same thing when I just saw his name, and I'm like, is this the same Jimenez? And then you see the art, and you're like, it has to be, but I've never seen him write.
But I knew that he knew this character, and he said, this was a dream come true for him to do Wonder Woman. He loves this character, and when you know that someone has that going for them, you kind of think, well, this is going to be okay. Then it's going to turn out all right. And little things like I mentioned before with the first issue, the little collectibles that he threw in there. That's a little Easter egg nod to the fans. That stuff that you own. It's real. It's real in our world too. Hippolyta even has it, I like that. So I think there's an omnibus of the entire Jimenez run, and I definitely think that's worth it. I think he did a good job. And I love the fact that in the beginning, when we first see Diana and Artemis interacting with Hippolyta, Diana is a little bit upset that Hippolyta isn't spending more time in Paradise Island and that she's kind of enjoying being the Wonder Woman. And that
you can kind of tell there's some tensions there that
you feel the tension, and which is great because that plays into a future storyline that Jimenez does. So overall, I'm happy with it so far. I'm glad that you guys have been enjoying it as well.
Yeah, it's a much better pick than last week.
Well, like I said, it's not my type of story, but I want to go read the fourth one. I mean, that kind of tells you how good a writer it is right there. That I don't like stories with gods and so forth, but it's like, well, I want to know how this turns out. Exactly
how it ends up. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Anything else that you want to say about this story or this run?
Yeah. It's a tough run to collect, especially getting those Hughes covers. So, but it's fun.
Yeah, very nice.
Just a run for me that I have a lot of, a couple issues here, a couple issues. So I haven't. It's familiar with what's going on, because a lot of holes for me. So.
Very nice. We'll be finishing up part 3 and part 4 next week. We're having a show next week, I take it, right?
Yep.
Good question. I don't know. I got to do trick or treat stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll talk.
Yeah. Just check our social medias because somebody or everybody will be posting about the schedule. But the next Fanboys that we have will be wrapping up this show if it's not next week. But it might just be me sitting here talking about it. I don't know. So, let's do a book show and let's just do the book show separate, and then we'll come back and talk about what's going on the channels. Why don't we start out with Tim?
Yes, so I have a cool Wonder Woman book here, the only issue of Sensation Comics I have. And Ryan, you probably didn't even know I had it, but Sensation Comics issue 1.
Nice treasury there,
Yeah. Was trying to think of something cool Wonder Woman related to show, and I sort of went with my big gun last time I was on here. So
that is nice.
But still cool to have and be able to read an old book like that.
I think that all of the treasuries are cool because there's something about it just being in that size that makes it feel like it's an event.
Yeah.
It is. You're right.
Yeah. So we'll head over for Tony now to see what he has.
I have two.
Sure.
And I'm gonna keep the current theme and show a treasury that I picked up today.
Nice.
Awesome.
That looks in great
on
shape.
the cheap. This is in beautiful condition. I kind of makes me wish that they graded these.
Yeah.
This thing is in it's obviously got some nicks on it, but this is in great shape for these for sure. $8 for this thing.
Wow,
You did
that's,
well
that's a
with
really
that.
good deal.
Yeah,
And the
I was like,
diorama's intact on the back and everything.
yeah, everything's intact. I went through every page. I sat there at the guy's booth. He's probably annoyed with me, but I looked at every single page. But it's in great shape.
Hi, Noshhead. Thank you for stopping by. It's always great to see you.
And for my second book show, and I did go to a con, and I started this project today. So we'll take a look. This is the Wonder Woman blank. Keep in mind that I was doing a Batman one, the Superman one, and we started the Wonder Woman one. So there's a bunch of different signatures on here. This one is Cliff Chang, and he drew this weird Wonder Woman one. We have Evan Doc Shaner did this one. Becky Coolian did this one, and that's her signature down here.
Cool.
Mark Morales right here. And I can't remember her name. Something Martinez. Aretha Martinez. But that's her.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
But
Awesome.
that was one of the books I've got signed today. So this one counts as to one of the books that I got.
One of the 400.
One of the 400. So I didn't get 400 books autographed today. Just anyone who doesn't know, now I have 400 total books signed.
Wow.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
It's an accomplishment to get 400 comics, much less 400 signatures.
You're right.
For sure.
That's a good point.
What I decided to take for book show tonight, this probably isn't going to show up that great on camera. When you look at this, if you look close enough, there's some writing on my book too.
Oh yeah, I see it. It's in the hair. Yeah. There.
So this is Wonder Woman 182. This is also from the Phil Jimenez run, and Mr. Jimenez signed it for me personally.
Very cool. What does it say?
Well, it's the book's in a Mylar, and the inscription says, Ryan, ooh, Mylar. Thank you so much for coming, Phil Jimenez, 2002.
Ooh. Where was that at? At a convention?
Wizard World Chicago.
Wizard World Chicago.
Yeah.
Wow.
So very happy to have this in my collection.
That's awesome,
book, man.
I think I have something from Phil Jimenez. I do. I have DC Rebirth #1 signed by Phil Jimenez. So cool.
We should also mention too that Phil Jimenez has a new Wonder Woman project that it was supposed to come out this month, but with some of the delays that DC's been experiencing, it's now scheduled for next month. So the Wonder Woman History of the Amazons, or Amazon Historia. So the first issue of that, it's going to be a 3-issue. It's going to be a 3-issue, but it's not going to be like published in 3 consecutive months. It's the first issue, then there's going to be a little bit of a break, then the second, then a little bit of a break, and then the third. But that will be coming out next month.
Something about that seems really fishy. DC actually hired someone that seems qualified to do a book. Someone with a Wonder Woman knowledge to do a history book.
Well, this was announced years ago, so the fact that it's finally coming out just makes me happy because it's been a few years since this was announced, and
they probably announced it at the same time they announced Black Adam was going to be played by The Rock.
Yeah.
Here we are, almost a decade later.
Black Adam was still a wrestler when they worked that out.
Yeah, great to have you stopping by. Now we'll go over and talk about what's happening on our channel, starting again with Tim, the comic collector.
Not too sure about upcoming, but things I've done the past week. I was on Mr. Comic 89's channel for his knockout on Friday. So definitely go check that out. It was a fun show, and I did a live of all things unboxing Dragon Ball Z figures. I had an AOK video and a top 10 covers video I did this week. So.
Very nice. Tony Fett.
Yeah, piggyback on what Tim said. I'm going to be on Mr. Comic 89 for the knockout thing. I think he did Green Lantern. I'm doing Shazam, which is perfect for me. Obviously, there's a couple of haul videos coming up for sure. I definitely got to show off my pickups from Baltimore Comic Con. So stay tuned for that. There is some really cool books I got signed by some people that I'm very lucky to get because they don't do cons very much. I learned that after speaking with them. So it was very cool. So stay tuned for that. Actually got 2 haul videos coming up. So
Nice.
Awesome.
Actually, now I got content.
Yeah. A lot coming out for Tony.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Well, I had a very successful Wonder Woman day, to say the least. I dropped a video, and thank you guys for watching it too. It was Wonder Woman, the complete issue number 750 covers. And this issue of Wonder Woman has more variant covers than any other issue in her title in the last 80 years. And I have every one of them. Now, to put this in perspective, maximum, only 136 people maximum could have a complete collection of these.
Wow.
Because one book, there was only 136 available. So that's assuming that all 136 also bought every other cover. And I set this goal. I wanted to try to get 80 views within the first 24 hours of dropping this video on Thursday, Wonder Woman Day. And in the first 24 hours, we ended up at 149 views. So you almost doubled it. It has since doubled, and actually it's close to 200 right now. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out on my channel, I certainly would appreciate it. Even though it's a little bit of a longer video, hopefully it holds your interest. And
no, it was good. It was great.
I had a very special introduction in the video from Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad, which are Wonder Woman's current writers. I thank them so much for doing that. And Michael invited me to do a live feed with them on Wonder Woman Day on his Instagram, which I did. And
it was very cool.
I had so much fun. It was just me and the two of them. And we talked for about an hour. And I just had the best day. I even bought a lottery ticket that day because I felt like everything was just flowing my way the way it was supposed to. So
that's awesome.
And after chatting with Becky Coolian today, she was so happy that there are fans out there like you, because we talked about that. So hats off to all the Wonder Woman fans who are buying those books and keeping them employed.
Yeah. But I meant what I said. It's a really good run. I'm really enjoying it.
It is. It's one of the better Wonder Woman runs in a long time, for sure.
It is. So also earlier this past week, I dropped a video, Wonder Woman 1984 Museum Mayhem. A lot of people think that one-shot comic book has 2 covers. And the people that think that are wrong. I have the complete covers, including some that are pretty much going to be ghosts, because they're close to being ghost books right now. So you can check out my video and see that for yourself. I'm still continuing the rest of this month with some special Wonder Woman content. And on Tuesday, I'll be dropping Wonder Woman, what was supposed to be the complete Wonder Woman 1984 covers that got rebranded into Wonder Woman 80th Anniversary covers. Not to be mistaken with the Wonder Woman 80th Anniversary one-shot that came out earlier this month. That will be a separate video. But that is dropping on Tuesday afternoon. So just trying to continue as much Wonder Woman-oriented content to celebrate the Amazon's 80th anniversary. So if for some reason you're here on my channel but haven't subscribed yet, please do. Please subscribe to the other fanboys, even the ones that aren't here. Links to everybody is in the description for this video.
Awesome.
So that's kind of what's been going on with me.
Sounds awesome, man.
I'm excited to see your haul from your little comic book.
Yeah,
market. It's not really a convention, like you said.
Yeah, it's not.
That's like I'd say it's the con. At least back in the day, like I bought most of my collection from that guy, 40 cents a piece.
The reason that I don't call it a con and I call it a show is because there are no panels, there are no celebrities. There are
Yeah.
no cosplaying really. It's just a bunch of dealers set up in a hotel ballroom.
That's what I
Yeah.
love. I love little stuff like that. Those little conventions, if you can call it that.
You know how awesome Alan is, the guy that runs it. I went to him this year, and it'd probably been 2 or 3 years. I didn't have kids last time I saw him. I walk in, he remembers me. He asked about my grandpa that was bringing me to his shows when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And he's talking to my daughter. My daughter's dressed up like Supergirl, and he's really being nice to her and complimenting her. And it's like, this guy goes all over the place, hasn't seen me in years, but he remembers me from when I was a little kid coming to see him. And his prices are still the same. 100 books for $40, 40 cents a piece.
Yep.
Jeez, man, don't tell me that. I'll be out of there with like 5 short boxes full of books.
You can buy him by the short box.
He's through the Midwest, basically. Like, I think St. Louis is about as far south as he comes, and then he goes up north to, Minnesota and areas like that.
Yeah, Wisconsin. I'm in Wisconsin. That's where I saw him at today. So.
Yeah, I think he's in Illinois. Like, I think he's between St. Louis and Chicago is where he lives somewhere.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, that's kind of what's been going on. So, please sub everyone up. Like I said, if you haven't right now, we'll help build this community that way. Thank you again for joining us for another Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. Stay tuned for details, programming-wise, as to where this next episode will end up on whose channel. We'll let you know. And thank you again, everyone in the live chat that joined us. And those watching on the rewind, you certainly are not forgotten about either. You are very much appreciated. And thank you for your time. Hope everyone had a great Wonder Woman day. And take care. Bye, guys.